which creates a sense of separation for many light workers and starseeds and awakened beings who recognize their true self. They feel a sense of separation and trauma from the reality that they find themselves in. You are at a point now collectively where you are ready for this information, whereas a few years ago, perhaps it would not have been appropriate to bring this information through in such a public way. Again, we bring forth a message that he did not anticipate, and that was not on his list. And he is getting cranky with us, saying, when are we going to get to the things I want to know about when aliens are coming? We would say there's many channels talking to that, and you will talk to that, Andreas, in due course. Yet we feel it is most appropriate to bring forth this message today. The original design of the Earth was that of a seventh dimensional frequency that could oscillate between the ninth and fifth paradigm. In many ways, the Earth was a heaven for the souls that inhabited this place. Over eons of time, the falling took place where the Earth's peoples decided, with enough collective intention, to entertain the egoic desires of the physical plane they found themselves in, which allowed the frequency of the Earth collective to collapse over time and fall into the third dimensional paradigm. When it fell enough, it allowed entities that of a lesser light to come in and infiltrate the Earth's system and energy field, to which the Earth agreed to have this experience. When this took place, the contraction of your human energy collapsed into the third dimensional construct that you have been experiencing for the last few millennia. And when the Earth agreed to no longer take place in that experiment, things started to shift, and souls came into the human experience to support this. This was known as the clarion call. You have been tethered to the Earth's false matrix from birth, for it was the only way that you could incarnate into the Earth matrix at this time. The Earth matrix has had heavy overlays on it. We have shown this to Andreas before as a thick, heavy veil or blanket that continues to be pulled over the true Earth matrix experience. And this false heavy blanket, by the doers that have held ill intent on the Earth so that they could control the population and be the rulers of this false kingdom that they created, they have continually put that over and over the energetic frequency of all of the inhabitants on the Earth. That has been taking place for centuries. It is not they who created it. What occurred was that they saw the opportunity of the falling consciousness on the collective of the humans and then came in to exacerbate that fate. They came in to take advantage of the collapse that was already taking place. And then they pushed that agenda, and the veils became heavier and thicker as the separation between what was seen as ruler, kingdom, and those that were not of that class continued to split off and divide to create the dualistic system, where there are those that have and those that have not. No longer. This collective separation, shift, we are the vibration that we are giving Andreas, he's not quite able to articulate that into a word. He knows it's on the tip of his tongue, and yet he can't quite find the words. So we will say the separation that can no longer be in the fifth dimensional frequency and beyond. It is not possible for the collective consciousness that is lovingly focused and focused on the whole to have that experience. And so that experience is wrapping up. There is a tether that we want to talk about. For it's important to understand, and you are at a point now collectively where you are ready for this information, whereas a few years ago perhaps it would not have been appropriate to bring this information through in such a public way, for it is disturbing to understand. As the veil on the earth became so thick and heavy, the original design of the earth matrix became unrecognizable. And instead, the only thing that really could be experienced here, incarnated onto the earth, was the false earth matrix. And the only way that the false earth matrix can be tuned into is if you tether your soul to the matrix itself, because it is not of the creator, it is not of God, it is not of the original design of the earth. It was placed upon the earth, and it is quite a unique experience for a planetary body to have this experience. We would say choice is made at soul level when you incarnate into the earth matrix, and every single one of you have done this in order to be here. You allow your soul to enter through a calcification, if we will, a densification, a cording that then entangles your soul into the false earth matrix. And that can be quite traumatizing for the soul. There is a sense of loss and death, ironically present in the birthing when you arrive into the earth matrix. For there is an immediate recognition that it is foreign territory, that it is not of your soul nature, that the overlay has been put in place, and there is a trauma that takes place from the moment of incarnation, which creates a sense of separation for many light workers and starseeds and awakened beings who recognize their true self. They feel a sense of separation and trauma from the reality that they find themselves in. And we would say that we're at the point now where very many, if not most adults, are at a point where they are no longer feeling that they belong to the very earth that they find themselves in. And that's because you never belong to this place. No one belongs to the false earth matrix. For indeed, it is an overlay. It is like placing AI into the game and calling it the game. This is the best reference that we can give you at this time. And we would say that just as when you unplug yourself from a game that you are playing, the unplugging is taking place at present. And the shift that is coming is going to unplug you all at once. This is the solar event wave purpose, to awaken your body and to unplug you from the game, the false earth matrix. As soon as that event has taken place, you cannot exist in the false earth matrix anymore. The false earth matrix will have been exited. And the false earth matrix is collapsing in real time around you now. For it was never designed by God to be here. It was allowed to be here for the free will of all involved to take place and play out their scenarios, their war games, their games. And yet it was never part of the original design of this earth. So when that happens, and many of you light workers, especially those that have done a lot of spiritual work, will have already or will within the coming years before the event takes place, unplug yourself from the false earth matrix and go through the experience of healing that trauma. The trauma of being born into a place you were never designed to be. Into a place where you had to dull your light, contract your light to such a degree that you no longer recognized yourself. The amnesia that has taken place on your souls and on your brains in order for you to function in this world. For if you knew who you were, it would be merely almost impossible to live out the daily grind that is your experience and that has been your experience in this reality. And we are at the point now where the majority of humans can no longer play the game that they recognize is not true. You have the great resignation that took place after the pandemic, because it catalyzed the human to understand that they are not here to work, that they are not here to be factory to be robots in the factory, that they are here to be creator beings. That is who you are by design. You are creator beings. You are here to create, to live, to thrive, to grow, to nourish, to solve problems together, to invent, to enjoy. And that was taken away from you. When the event, we're going to talk about this now in the context of the event wave, for this is when it is taking place en masse. However, this, as we have stated, has already started to take place for the individuals who are ready to do that. And those are the individuals that are going to be less affected by the event wave, and they will be guiding others through the experience of the event wave. We have spoken to this in a few channelings ago. There is a moment where your soul untethers itself from the earth matrix. We would like to show you a cord, and this cord extends all the way down into the center of the earth. And if the overlay of the matrix had its heart in the center of the earth, because that's where those that wanted to do wrong have buried the source of this matrix, this false matrix, in the very earth itself. How else would it perpetuate? It is not just that it exists on the surface layer of your atmosphere. This overlay exists in the very heart of Mother Gaia, that she is shedding, that she has gone, no, I am not having this experience anymore. I have done this enough. And this overlay, your souls are corded to the overlay. This is why often there is this idea of that you are trapped in the earth matrix, which is not true. You are not trapped in the earth matrix. You can choose to untether your soul. However, the majority of earth's souls, those that are not the starseeds, not the light workers, not the ones that have come here to make this shift, but have instead chosen to just be part of the shift rather than to guide, to lead, and to be aware of the shift itself, they have often been the most tethered to the matrix. They have let their soul fuse into the matrix. And when they die, they leave their body. And then because their soul is so tethered to the matrix, they straight back into the matrix. This is the reincarnation cycle that you have been described as your fate. Many religions have been created to perpetuate this notion that the reincarnation cycle was all there ever was. And that isn't true. It is a soul decision to be tethered to the matrix, but it becomes so hard for the soul to untether itself until it recognizes its true essence, which is its godliness, its God self. And those of you that have come in to support the ascension process are less tied to this matrix, because this could very well be the first time you've ever tied yourself to it. Or you could have only tied to yourself to it a few times. Or perhaps you incarnated to the earth when it was in the original design. And now you've come back and you've had to tie yourself to the false earth matrix, which was traumatic at birth. And now you are in the process of untying yourself. What happens then? And we're going to again come back to the event, is all of the tethering. We are showing you a light cord coming out of your body that entangles with a dark, black, sticky cord that is entangled into the earth, the false earth matrix. That cord separates, it severs. You are freed from, you are disentangled from, you are released from the false earth matrix. And when that happens, when all of the souls en masse are released from the false earth matrix, the matrix cannot exist. It completely collapses in on itself. It goes away, it dies. And this is when your 5D light bodies take over your expression. And instead of being tethered into the false matrix, your soul chooses to inhabit the fifth dimensional true matrix of the earth, which is connected back into its seventh dimensional heart, which can fluctuate down into the 5, up into the 9. You do not need to do anything to prepare. You do not need to do anything. You are not going to be missed along the way. All you need to do is allow yourself to be with what you are experiencing day to day and let yourself flow, as we have discussed in the last channeling. We brought that through in the previous channeling to prepare you for this information in this channeling. You don't need to worry. You are looked after. Your soul knows what to do. Your mind doesn't know what to do, and it's going to try and figure out what to do. Don't go down that road. Your soul and your body already know. They already know. You we want to show you the idea of floating down. Rather than when your soul incarnates into the false earth matrix, when it did that, it actually tethered itself down into the false earth matrix to exist within it. But when you choose at soul level to be in the real matrix, the full original design, the 5D new earth, it's like you float down. You enjoy the scenic ride. You can leave at any time. You smell the roses along the way. It is enjoyable. It is not traumatic to be birthed into the 5D new earth. The idea of it being new is so ironic because it is not new. It is the original design. There's nothing new about it. It just feels new because it is no longer overlaid by the falseness of the false earth matrix. It's a breath of fresh air. You will be reborn. It will feel like you will be reborn because you are all of a sudden holding the lightness that your 5D light body holds, and it is completely sovereign. It is not trapped by anything. It is not bogged into anything. There is no feeling of being stuck here that exists in the 3D matrix. It is your choice as a creator being to be here. And when that happens, you are going to feel a sense of ease you have just never known before. But within that ease, there is a remembering taking place. And what the light workers that have already been going through this process will do once this shift piece has happened, the event itself has happened, they will be the ones that are helping everyone else just re-enter their trueness. For you already recognize it, you already feel it, you already know it, and it's coming through you more and more every day. For the majority of humans, they are going, what the F just happened? Where am I? It feels like home, and yet at the same time, I just don't know what's going on. So they need a little bit of time to reintegrate into their true self because all they have known is the false earth matrix. Now, Andreas has just given us an interesting question. What happens to the souls that are not ready and that don't want to leave the false earth matrix? This is very interesting indeed and comes back to the split understanding which you are experiencing now, where you see many going off into their lightness and others going further into their contraction because they are stuck. They have chosen to stay in that paradigm. At the moment of the event, rather than going back into their original design, they will contract completely and they will funnel into the core of the overlay in the center of the earth, and they will be reborn, as it were. They will not experience it as dying and being reborn. They will just experience it as going through the event, and they will have the experience, and then they will be in the more of the same. They will be in the more of the same is all we can say. And it is actually a small percentage of souls that have decided to do that. What will take place is they will really go into the core of that overlay and re-expand into another place that is the same overlay frequency. That is not the original New Earth design. That is not the original New Earth design. Again, we say the irony in the languaging. They will end up in a place that reflects what they have chosen to do at soul level, which is to stay tethered into some sort of false earth matrix, some form of falsity experience. For they still have lessons to learn in that. And they will be presented with another opportunity to go through this again. And it is, in earth times, Andreas will refrain from the language, a really, really long time away. Really, 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 really far away in the earth years, that they will have another opportunity to go through this wash cycle is the word that they're using. Wash cycle, this soul wash cycle, this rinse and repeat is what I'm getting from this, that it's some form of like, I'm feeling the yugas, if you're familiar with the idea of the yugas, currently exiting the Kali Yuga. It's this idea of the yugas, this idea of it comes back around, but in earthly years, it takes a very long time to reach that point again. So I see them as almost going off into this like pole star, this like other, it doesn't feel like it's of the earth. It's like they're waking up into a place that is like completely artificially manufactured planet, non-organic in any formal way. It is just like a slave prison-y type. It's gross. It feels heavy. It feels really dense. It's like if you take out all of the organic aspects of our reality that are reflections of the original Matrix, and you just strip them away and you just have the overlay, that's where they're going. That's where they've chosen to go, because they didn't get it. They didn't do the thing here. They decided it wasn't extreme enough for them to experience whatever their soul wants to experience. So they're going to go into this Matrix and really tie down and really tether into it and experience all that three-dimensional, lower vibrational, three-dimensional stuff that they need to experience. And it is what it is. There is no judgment. There is no fear around it. It just is what it is. What if your family members decide to do this? You will have the understanding that that is what they've chosen to do, and you will accept it. You will have a sense of mourning, but it is not the way that you mourn in the 3D world now, where you feel a loss of yourself, that you are mourning when someone else dies. You're mourning that they are no longer there for you, with you. The lack, the loss is the loss of them and their impact and spaciousness in your life that they're taking up. You won't feel that because that sense of emptiness and lack is not apparent in that fifth dimensional frequency. So there is more of a recognition. There is more of a, I recognize that this is what those souls have chosen to do, and I love and respect that. And I miss them, and I look forward to being in soul frequency with them outside of incarnated reality. However, at this stage, I recognize and support that that is what they chose to do. And again, we want to reiterate that the percentage of this is very small. We're showing to Andreas as little as 2% of the planet have chosen this path, and that could continue to fluctuate, and that will continue to go down more and more and more and more. We are showing Andreas how this goes down, 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 perhaps as little as 1.1%, 0.98% I'm seeing. And it is all up to the free will of the individual beings over the next few years in particular, because this is the big squeeze that they brought through last channeling. We're really being squeezed. Our stuff is coming up. This is Andreas. This is not channeling. This is just me sharing my perspective on what they're saying, is that those souls have the opportunity now to not go down that road by doing the inner work. It isn't that, oh, well, the soul has chosen and therefore that's what is. The free will always exists. And in every single moment, the soul is in harmony with the incarnated body to continue to calibrate what would be the best experience based on what's going on the ground here in the Earth Matrix. Whew. Yes. And we would add that this journey is not painful to you when you go through it. Even the journey of going into that separated false matrix that is splitting off from the earth, we are showing you the split. What the split is the false earth matrix splitting off to one side and the real original matrix splitting off to the other side. That is what is happening in this split. And those that decide to go into the false earth matrix split will not be experiencing pain during that process. Surely, once they arrive back into their created reality, that is going to be a painful experience, because that is the density of the experience they've chosen to have. And yet, we would say the process itself is not experiencing pain unless you resist the process. We have spoken to this in a previous channeling about the split specifically, and you can tune into this by going into that channeling. There is enough that we have spoken to on that. We have a sense of completeness around this channel. Are there any lingering questions that you have, Andreas? Is there anything that you think that the people watching would want to know? Animals and pets? Not quite the same as the human souls. Your animals and pets will not come. Your animals and pets, I'm resisting what they're saying. Take it with discernment, but what I'm hearing is that your animals and pets don't come. It's not part of their soul agreement to be through this. This is a human experience. And these souls are just here, being in wherever they are. And they are far more connected to the original Earth Matrix than we are anyway. So there's really nowhere for them to go. They don't need to go through this shift. They could absolutely reincarnate into another animal in the New Earth paradigm. And they could also choose to allow their body to move. They can choose to allow their body to move through the shift and to just be there. But they don't go through the shift itself. I don't understand that. Can you explain that more? You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. It is impossible to explain in the human words how that experience of the body essentially disappearing from one reality and reappearing into another reality without going through the shift itself. It's hard to explain, but what I'm getting at is what they're showing me is they don't go through this like shift that we do, because their soul isn't tied into the matrix. It's just here. They're just sort of in it. But they haven't made this soul tie that we have made to this Earth Matrix. Oh, I don't like the word soul tie. It makes it feel like it's some nasty thing. And yet my team are saying it is somewhat of a nasty thing, in that your soul does agree to tie itself into the Earth Matrix. But it's not that some demonic force has the authority over that. It's that you have, as a soul, have chosen to be here and to incarnate into the false matrix so that you could untether yourself and in real time move into your soul fifth dimensional drop-in into that original Earth Matrix. Yes, that's what they're showing me. Any other questions? Okay. You have done well, Andreas, to explain this concept, and we trust that those who have heard the concept today take it into their own bodies and listen to what their resonance is. As always, we are not going to be giving you the notion that what you must believe is here. You get to create your own reality. This is the sovereignty that you are stepping into in this New Earth paradigm. And we don't wish you to feel any form of connection to this beyond what actually feels truthful for you. So allow yourself to take the information in and choose how it resonates with you. And if there is a perhaps more expansive and expressive understanding that you have, please indeed continue to subscribe to that and share that with others, perhaps below or perhaps in your waking life or through your own experiences as you go about your journey. We want to bow to you. We are bowing Andreas's head because there is a sense of reverence that you must receive from the divine and from us. For it is a huge undertaking to come to the earth plane at this time. It has been a huge undertaking to tether the soul to the false earth matrix at any time. That in itself is a large choice to make, and yet we would say those that are listening to this message, that understand, that are awake, it is even greater of a consideration to allow your ascended energy to descend into this false paradigm. It is very heroic, and it is not something that all souls were able to do. You were chosen. You had to come at this time. You were strong enough. We have often said that only the strong souls that were able to handle this frequency were able to come. And yes, we would like to close this out by really letting you understand now why only the strong souls could come into this matrix, because the potential for you to lose yourself again, perhaps, or for the first time in the false earth matrix was a risk that you chose to take. You came into this false place and tethered yourself to the false earth matrix, knowing full well that you may get so bogged down that you would stay there and that you risked potentially going down the spiral into the split off matrix, old matrix. That is, it was a possibility that you knew when you incarnated, that if you forgot to such a degree that you became well ingrained into the false earth matrix, you may have ended up choosing to go down the road of completing an entire cycle in human form. Now that seems scary for the human, but in reality, it is not. It is just a soul choice. In the reality, in the grand scheme of things, it is but a blip in the moment of your soul, and it is not so dramatic. And yet from the human perspective, we understand how dramatic that would be. And as a soul, that is not a choice that you just take lightly. You always take all of your soul decisions with so much love and intention. And therefore, you knew that that risk was there, and yet you came anyway, because you had the knowingness that you would be able to stay awake in the game. And here you are, awake in the game. You have done a great job. You have done so well. You will continue to expand into more of your lightness. As each day progresses forth, you will know yourself more and more. It will become so much so that you will almost cry in disbelief of how expansive and wonderful you are truly. You will take your own breath away from your own light and expansiveness that is coming through. We are so excited for you, and it is coming more and more rapidly to you every single day as you, in every waking moment, choose to embody your highest frequency now, in the moment that it is. And if that means purging, if that means healing, if that means crying, if that means celebrating, if that means dancing, whatever it means in the now moment, whatever is necessary, we trust that you will allow yourself to move through that. For it creates the capacity for you to be in your highest, most expanded self. And when you reach this place, on more and more of your now moments, you will find that this place that has burdened you for so long will become the paradigm paradise that you have already experienced and that you will re-experience again. For this is the original design, and this is what you came here to do. And so it is. We love you, we honor you, and we allow this message to conclude. Thank you, Andreas, for being our vessel as always, and we love you, we honor you, and we bow to you. And so it is. We're just letting Andreas come back to his resting state. Wow. Again, quite an intense message, and their energy is still letting. I need to stop talking. I feel so buzzed in. Oh, I feel super buzzed in. What's going on? We are calibrating your frequency into the... Hamerakana satariana satya mahaya hiana sataya kunahia hambuata sataya nahia kanawa uayata kandara hia maya hiana skaya hambarahia hambohia Hinarea kandarea koa tanea te anae Hania ganea taia uetoi ua You are incredible. You are awakening. You are chosen. You are remembering who you are. Breathe in, remembering. Breathe out, letting go of resistance. Breathe in, remembering who you are. Breathe out, letting go of control. Breathe in, letting go and trusting. Breathe out, letting go and resisting. You are in complete control of the journey forward, dear one. You will continue to choose your soul pathway as you ascend through the game that you have designed to play. We had to support Andreas delivering that message of light codes to you. In the trusting that for those that are supposed to hear that, they will. It is designed to awaken souls back into who they are. You know who you are. Let yourself hear that. We are merging We are coming here in that your vibration is matching ours, in that we are merging as one, in that you are inhabiting your original design matrix. Overlays not in sight. We are so joyous for you. And we were not able to give Andreas the heads up about the light language transmission, for he would have resisted it. So we sprung it on him and allowed it to come through. We are complete, and we sign off to you now, bowing and honoring you on your pathway forward, home. And so it is. Thank you for tuning in to today's message. If any questions or comments have arisen within you, feel free to pop them into the box below. I welcome your comments and discussions around this channeling. I'm very curious how the light language resonated with you. If you took something from this message, consider joining our family by subscribing or perhaps sharing it with somebody that is dear to you. I look forward to seeing you in next week's channeling, and I just want to send you my love, my gratitude, and I bow to you. Me, Andreas, bow to you, because it is a gift for me to share this journey with you. It is a pleasure and a joy for us to support each other as light workers, starseeds, souls who came here to support this mission. It is a true privilege to be connected to you all, and I'm excited that as we continue this journey, we will only become more increasingly connected. And so it is.